Comedian.
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everybody. Do we see it?
I don't see it yet, but maybe I need to refresh. This is what we didn't want, people hearing
It
me.
says Renee Santos is live now. This is what we didn't want. But hey, guys, we're troubleshooting this. It does look like I'm live and you have no video up.
Oh, I see us.
Yay, us. We are there. We have one viewer. Hi, viewers. So, guys, we are finally figuring out this platform. So we're going to get started here in a second. But please say hello to us. Jackie is just a bobbing head and not a real person right now.
That's the way people like me.
They like her as a bobbing head.
I feel like this is.
How was everybody's Thanksgiving?
Oh my God.
How was your Thanksgiving, Jackie
I
Monahan?
had a great time. Now I'm trying to go to my fan page. Well, business page. Whatever you want to call it. Fun time. All right. We'll at least have it on here for now. Okay. And I'll come back so you're not by yourself. My Thanksgiving was great. I went to how do I get it back on? Let me back on.
We're back. Oh, you can't get it back on? Where'd you go? It says your device is not connected. So for those of you who are watching live, which is 4 of you, this part we're going to edit out. What do you think? So while we wait for Jackie to be added back into the stream. Hi, Jackie's added back into the stream. You look beautiful. I have to fix my lighting now. Dun, dun, dun.
My Thanksgiving, I went to my friends and I, a really good friend of mine, she and I, we got tested. Her husband got tested, and I had a date who got tested, and we all.
That's what you did on Thanksgiving? You guys just all got tested?
No, we got tested the day before, and then we all had Thanksgiving together. It was delicious and so nice. It was really nice.
I love it.
What about you?
I live in this artist community. So the cool thing about this whole COVID experience is that I have been quarantined with a community of people. It's like Big Brother for those of you guys who don't. I live in a community, a co-living community space, but we've been all quarantined together since March. So I kind of had a built-in group to have Thanksgiving with. We're a weird little motley crew. We all, come from different places, and you move into this place and you don't really know each other. So now we're sort of this weird wonky family because of quarantine. So that's what we hung out with. And I made my first turkey, which was interesting because I've been a vegetarian for 10 years, but like we couldn't get any of the 20 somethings to make a turkey. So I was like, fuck it, I'll make the turkey. Wow. So it wasn't a tofurkey, it was a real turkey. And then it made me realize why I went vegetarian.
Yeah. How did you do it? You took the guts out?
Yeah, there's guts in the gut. Okay. Yeah, it was a lot. I was trying to be a team player for the community, and everybody wanted a turkey. It was a lot for me. Like I actually had that moment where
cut off the head.
What?
Did you have to cut off the head?
No. It's already cut off, but then they stick it in the gut of the turkey. So you have to take like the giblets and the neck and the shit. You got to take that out of it before you stuff the bird.
No.
It was a lot. It was a lot for me. Yeah. It was great for doing.
Nice of you.
Yeah. I still struggle. I got to be completely honest with the whole like vegetarian, vegan, plant-based thing, diet. I struggle. I go in and out of committing to it to not committing to it, but then I read about stuff, but then I also have a skin condition called vitiligo, and they say, my dermatologist was like, one of the things that's really going to help the melanin in your skin is animal proteins. So then I started eating fish again and white meat because I'm like, do I want to be polka dotted or do I want to be vegetarian? And then I'm like, and then I have friends that are like, this is really bad, but I'm primarily like vegan plus fish, if that makes any sense, because I can't digest dairy. So I don't really do dairy, although I've been cheating. And then of course for the holidays I have ice cream because it's one of those things where I'm not necessarily allergic to dairy. It just makes me very like inflamed and uncomfortable and yeah, I fart a lot. That's the truth. I'm digestively uncomfortable when I eat a lot of dairy. So I do my very best to limit it being in my diet, but I've cheated the last couple of weeks, and my body freaking feels the cheat.
Did you have sex after you ate the ice cream?
I had sex with the ice cream, actually.
Wow. I found out something interesting about Renee. Renee is a bottom. Renee, I didn't know that.
Well, I'm like a power bottom of your dreams.
Oh, there you go.
It depends. I'm not always a bottom. Like, I'm not a pillow princess in any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
Really, I transferred to being a bottom more when I got a spinal injury.
Oh, okay. All right. I was
really with
a bottom.
injury. Yeah.
I
mean,
was
look,
major bottom, then I started getting versatile.
are you a top?
Sometimes it's versatile, but I just pictured you as a top.
I mean, I am too, for sure. But I'm the reason why I say I'm a power bottom is it's kind of like being a top in a way because, you know, I don't know that.
Topping from the bottom.
Viewers. We've never had 10 viewers, and now that we're talking about me being a power bottom, all of a sudden
You're topping from the bottom.
Yeah, it's like you're topping from the bottom, which is like the story of my life. Topping from the bottom. Somebody commented. Now I have to see what this says. Oh, it just says you're gorgeous. That's not what I thought.
I love how I tell everybody you have a UTI.
You have a UTI. I don't have a UTI.
I feel like it's a good thing. Like, it's a nice thing in being a lesbian, having a UTI. It means you're really getting pounded.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means.
It's pretty great.
Where are you? I just lost you. Here we are.
I'm still here. So tell me about you. So you made the turkey. Did you eat the turkey?
I did a little bit. I gotta confess, like, it was one of those things where I put so much effort into it.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
had to.
But you know, it's weird. My diet's been really weird in the last year because when I eat meat, it's like cheating, like it's eating cake. I really do eat a primarily plant-based diet. I do, for digestive reasons, but also just like for health reasons. But my vegetarianism isn't always like a political thing for me. It was really just like a digestive thing for me. I just was more comfortable.
Yeah.
But I still, like, I eat 90% vegetables and like a splash of protein. Like, it's almost the opposite. Like, when I tell people I have a plant-based diet, they assume that means vegetarian. But it's really just meaning the base of my diet, the bulk of my diet is plants.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Does that make sense? Like, that's what it's based on.
Yeah, mine is carbs. I have a carb base.
Well, carbs can be plants, like, you know, beer and French fries are vegan, my friend.
Yeah. Very true, very true. So, what else? So you got tell us about what you got in the mail from your doctor.
Oh, so I keep trying to convince myself that, like, 40 is like not different. Like, it's totally fine. Like, I'm 40 and I'm young and it's great. It's whatever. Like, I'm not going to like buy this whole 40 train. But then I got in the mail. Oh, is that not what you're talking about?
40 is the new fetus. Like,
40 is the new fetus.
Yeah.
But I got in the mail that I'm like due for my physical because I turned 40 or whatever. And they want to schedule me for a mammogram. And I realized, like, holy shit, I'm mammogram age. Like, I did not imagine the day that I would be, and as much denial as I try to be in, like, the fact that I got something in the mail that says I'm due for a mammogram, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and I asked my sisters, I was like, guys, okay, so, because I'm, you know, the baby, and my sisters are all in their, like, early and mid 40s, and I was like, so guys, like, mammogram, you guys have had mammograms, like, what is a mammogram like? And my sister's like, okay, you know what, Renee? Just take your boob and just put it in the freezer, like on the shelf of the freezer, and then just slam the door repeatedly on your breast. And I was like, that's what a mammogram is like. So apparently that's what I have to look forward to, especially because I'm only a B cup, and apparently it's way more painful the smaller you are. I don't know. This is all hearsay because I've not yet experienced this. You've had a mammogram, right, Jackie?
I did. It didn't. I was afraid it was going to hurt, and I didn't know. You just don't know when it's your first time. You're just like,
but you have pretty big boobs, right?
I don't know what's going to happen, but I still was just scared. And So I went, and it was the end of the day. The woman was just like, had it. She was just like, I am not, and I was just like, oh God, I can't. Like we would start, and then I would go, I can't. And she just was like, fuck you. Excuse me. She was just like, you're doing this. And she like got behind me, and like, she like, her arms were behind my arms. Her legs were behind my legs. And she like
Legs.
moved me into the mammogram. Like I was like pushing back. She was like pushing me in. Like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe. She's like, you're getting this done, like and I was like, please, can I like just sit and breathe for a minute? And she was like, no. And she was like pushed me in it.
I hear they manhandle your boobs like it's just like a piece of steak.
She manhandled my whole body. And so then we finally got it done. And I was like not crying, but upset.
I'm scared now. You're not making this better.
I know. But after, it didn't hurt at all. And then, so I was like, oh, that's not that bad. And she's like, yeah, now you can go get a drink. And I'm like, oh, I don't drink. And she was like, oh. And then she sat down and she was like, she's like, you're sober? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, I need to quit drinking. She's like, tell me what it's like. And then like the woman that had no time for me because she probably wanted to go get a drink ended up talking to me forever, and I helped her
maybe she's clean and sober now.
Yeah, I was like, no, I love being sober.
It is amazing when people like ask me questions about that, like somehow I'm missing out, and I'm like, no, I love it, man.
I love it too. but like that was something that I probably would have had a drink before I went to calm me down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then I wouldn't have had that magical time. And it was a funny story, her doing that with me. And the thing is, you experience it all. And when you think that you drink to make yourself not nervous, you make yourself more nervous, I think.
I think so too, because then you're like depending on something else to calm you down.
Exactly.
So you're not like self-reliant on having like the ability to like get yourself into a state of calm.
Yeah. And now I can go get a mammogram anytime because
Let's just do it. Let's just go get a mammogram together.
Where if I had drank, the next time I would have to drink, and the next time I would have to drink. So now you just face it the first time, done. But I couldn't believe how much time she had for me after. And she didn't have any.
Yeah,
before.
Isn't that interesting how that happens when people like show up for you once they're interested in what you have to offer?
Yeah. But yeah,
sobriety is a really weird thing to explain to people who don't like quite get it. Like I tried to explain it to somebody recently. In fact, it was prior to us gathering for Thanksgiving, even though we're not supposed to gather. But just for those of you who just joined, I gathered with people I already live with. People are like, is it hard to be around the drinking? And I'm like, okay, this is how you can imagine. Now that I haven't had a drink since 2009, it's been 11 years, so like I almost forget it in a way. And I'm just not interested at this point. Not that I'm like, I haven't had moments in my recovery where it's been an issue, but for the most part, like my default now is to not desire it. Like that desire really has been lifted. And, so I'm like, imagine what food do you like absolutely hate? I ask people like your worst and somebody would be like liverwurst or whatever. And I'm like, imagine everybody around you is eating liverwurst at a party. You wouldn't be like, God damn it, I'm really missing out. You're like, I don't like liverwurst. Like, I'm not missing out. Like, that's how I feel when I'm around a bunch of people who are drinking. Like, I don't sit there. People think I sit there and ache for it. Like, I'm missing out.
Same.
Like, I don't even want it.
Yeah, it took me a long time to just allow them to think that, because I felt like the more I tried to tell them that I didn't want to drink, the more they're like, oh yeah. And also I remember when I had friends that didn't drink and I drank, I was just like, she doesn't know how to be cool.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to be cool.
She's not a badass. I'm a badass. Like, no, facing life head on is badass.
It is badass. And it's not always torturous. That's the thing. Like, I think there's this concept that we're deprived. And I'm like, so much more. My life is so much more. That's like going to a child who is completely happy, joyous, and free without anything and saying they're the ones deprived. I'm like, they get to feel the fullness of life without seeking something outside of themselves in order to give them enough courage to experience the fullness of life. Like, how could I be the one deprived? Like, I have access to everything. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is amazing. Right. It's like not that people can't be their authentic selves when they're drinking, but this is the way that I envision it. Tell me if you like this analogy, but I feel like it will sort of make sense. So, because some people are like, well, the liquid courage, like you really are getting my authentic self when I'm drunk. And I don't know that that's necessarily not true, but I think of it like the X-ray machine at an airport. If that X-ray machine will illuminate everything that's really in the bag, it's everything that's in the bag, right? Whereas when you're clean and sober, you don't need the X-ray machine to see everything that's in the bag. But it doesn't mean that the X-ray machine's not actually viewing what's in the bag. It's that you need this extra thing that's emitting like UV rays, and you need this false thing in order to see what's in the bag. And what if you could just get to a place where you didn't need the X-ray machine? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want people to think that I think every single person, now of course there's a line, but I do think sometimes people can get to a place of authenticity even when they're in an altered state of consciousness. It's just, imagine if you didn't need it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Shay's mammogram party. She's funny.
Mammogram party. Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a mammogram party. That's so good.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I thought that I needed alcohol. I did think I needed alcohol to be my most fun self. But also like the next day after drinking, if I didn't have to work, like sometimes the hungover was really bad, but a lot of times I had fun with my hangover and my fighting to like feel like myself again. I had no resistance and I was like crazy. Like I wanted to bottle it sometimes, but now that part that I wanted to bottle, I can do that all the time. Like I can act drunk all the time. And also I read somewhere that alcohol actually is like, there's never like a good benefit from it. But like pot and marijuana, there is a benefit from it. But once you reach the enlightenment that you get from it, you should never smoke it again. Because then you could do it yourself and you're not really actually getting anywhere. It doesn't feel good anymore. You think that it does and that you need it, but it doesn't. And that's when you should stop. And I really get that. And like people are always like, don't you miss getting high? I'm like, no, not even a little bit. Like I can get high on my own. Like
totally. I'm like, wait, I still get high, but just not from altering my state of consciousness with substances.
Yeah.
Because a high, really the high is the feeling.
Yeah.
It's not the substance in your body, really. So like I can still get access to that feeling that you have access to. I just don't need drugs to get there.
Same.
You know what I mean?
And like not only high, I can like expand my mind and like, yeah, like I don't need anything.
Yeah, I really don't. In fact, sometimes I like fake pretend I'm altered because people just cannot believe that I can get to that without it. I got kicked. Did I ever tell you I got kicked out of a bar in Cabo San Lucas completely?
My favorite. That's my favorite. I love it. That should be the name of your next album.
That is the story of my life where I'm like, I think I should lie to people and say that I'm drunk.
I love doing that. I mean, it's not totally programmed, but I like went to like it was a film festival and they had an open bar and I was just on the dance floor dancing like a maniac and I just kept screaming, open bar, and like, like doing a touchdown and going crazy. But because I was screaming open bar, everybody thought I was drunk, but I was just screaming open bar. Around.
You were like just randomly, I was screaming open bar.
Yeah.
I love that. That's wonderful. That's totally the shit that I do.
Yeah. Oh, and then I was hitting on this girl. Her name was Allison. And I would look the other way and just scream, Allison, at the top of my lungs. And she'd be like, I'm over here. And I'm like, oh, there you are. Like I kept doing it over and over again. I was totally sober. She was wasted though. I was like, Allison. She's like, I'm over here. I'm like, oh, it was really funny. But yeah, everybody's like, that girl's wasted. Nope. Totally sober. I realized I was drinking to make other people interesting, never myself.
Oh my God, that's such a good point. I think so too. Because ultimately, if you think about it, no one really cares what's in your glass.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like no one.
They only care when they're not comfortable with themselves.
Yeah. It's true.
Because I really remember it. I remember my friends being there that were sober. This is what I hate. But it doesn't matter because the only people I want to hang out with really are people that wouldn't care about like that aren't like, oh, let's get rid of Jackie because I'm drinking, you know. I went to the show one time and I was like to the other comics, and like, were you guys like, oh, here comes Buzzkill. Buzzkill. And they're like, no, Jackie. I'm like, do you guys at all think like, oh, we can't pound alcohol in front of Jackie? And they were like, no. Like thinking of
Yeah,
me
I don't
as Buzzkill cracks me up.
totally. When people get apprehensive around me too, I'm like, you don't have to. I'm not sitting here judging you. You know, like I'm just not concerned with what other people are doing. Now, of course, there can be a line when I start to see in a conversation that they're getting that slurred whatever, and I'm like, I can't be in this anymore. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
for this here, but I'm not necessarily judging their character. It's just discernment at that point.
Right.
I'm like, this is just not an environment that works for me. I get it. You know, I don't think everybody has a problem. I've been around people who do it every once in a blue moon, but I'm saying even the blue moon, I'm not into the blue moon. Like this is when I leave the conversation because there's no part of this for me. You know, so it's just, I gotta leave.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. Like I remember when I first got sober, and it's not even that long ago, but I remember saying I was dating a woman that was sober at that time. And I was like, oh, I'm still going to want to hang out at bars. And she was like, that's going to change, Jackie. And I was just like, no, it won't. I like the energy of bars and the joy. And now it's just like, no.
No, because you realize that's like not authentic at all.
Nobody's going to remember anything. And
it really is just this level of like escapism where it's not. To me, the other thing about getting sober is that my energy and my time has become sacred. So that's why bars are not a good fit for me. Like even when I'm in a social environment, I want it to be real conversation. I'm at the point in my life where I don't want to give away a lot of free energy. You know?
Right. That's the best way to put it. Yeah. I don't want to give away free energy. Yeah. Unless it's for me. Or yeah.
Totally. Not that there's ever not a purpose, because I will say, like, I'm a huge sports fan. And when it's like sports finals and whatever, I do like being at a bar because of the fans and the energy of people rooting stuff on. And even like 7 years into my sobriety, I do like when there's like a Super Bowl, I want to be in that environment because I like it. I don't like watching like a culminating football game by myself in a living room. But I don't need the alcohol. I could do it in a living room if a lot of people were gathering. But I like the social aspect of like a culminating game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still find that really, and I gotta be honest, I play a mean game of darts, and
Ooh.
so they always play darts in a bar. But you know what's interesting is I started playing darts when I got clean, and I was dating somebody who wasn't, and I wanted to have something to do. Like when I went to a bar with her, I didn't want to feel, because I felt like if I'm at a bar and the only purpose of being at a bar is drinking, I'm going to use again. And so I was like, well, what else can I do? And so she bought me darts, and I started playing one day, and I was like weirdly good at it. So then we would go to and I would like compete with other people. And then I started looking forward to it to be like, I totally want to play darts with you.
Wow.
And people didn't expect me to be good at darts too. So that was the other reason why it sort of worked for me.
Wow. I performed in Vegas once, and there was a dart competition there, and I slept with one of the competitors.
Oh, Shayla Smith. We both make great points. See, that's really cool that people who are not sober can also relate. And I want to be cautious because I don't want to like shit talk on people who are not sober. Like not everybody's an addict.
Yeah.
And I also, I feel protective of people who are normal. Like there is a difference between just a normal person who's able to drink and then like an active addict. You know what I mean? Like it's just.
My friend and I argue about it all the time because I'm like, I could totally date someone that drank, but as long as it wasn't their priority. Like if it was like work, relationship, drinking, like that's not fun for me because it just doesn't feel like, I don't want drinking to be but my friend doesn't believe that I could date somebody that drank. But I'm like, there are people that drink like one drink every 6 months. Like I could date somebody like that, or somebody that has like a glass of wine a week. I don't want to date somebody that drinks every day or that get binge drinks once a week. I don't want anything like that.
Yeah, and especially like when it's part of the conversation too. Like I've noticed that like being back and I've been single for 2 years, but I've dabbled and dated and kind of sifted and sorted to kind of find out what would fit in my world. And I've noticed that like, when I date somebody where drinking is just a part of their conversation. And then when I was here and I was at this event and I was da, 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 and I'm like, when I'm at the point in my life where having conversations, my stories just don't involve storytelling about drinking anymore.
Right.
That just doesn't align with me. So like that it just doesn't work for me. I'm just not interested in that conversation
Right.
anymore.
Right. Like we were so wasted. It was so fun. Like I wrote for 9 hours today. It was awesome.
Yeah, like I want to have that conversation. Like
Right.
I meditated and
Yeah.
because it was like a lunar eclipse, I felt connected to source. Like I want to have
Right.
those
Same,
conversations,
same. Not like I put as much as I possibly could in between me and all that is.
Yeah, And have you ever in your entire sobriety woken up the next morning and been like, you know what? I really wish I drank last night.
Yeah, never.
Like that's never a thing that ever happens ever.
Never.
So when I play out the tape, look at Eric.
Oil pull,
Pull,
oil pull,
pull,
wood,
oil pull.
wood.
I have to say, I do you oil pull? Let's talk about that. See, this
I
is
really
a good
do.
conversation, Eric. I love it.
Me too.
My little sister Mandy introduced me to oil pulling, and I thought it would be the weirdest thing in the world because I just didn't like for 20 minutes having the coconut oil sit in my mouth. And once I adjusted to it, I really dug it.
Now I can't go back. Like if I don't oil pull, I'm like, what is the matter with my mouth today? And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't oil pull. Ariel!
Oh, I love this comment. You are so right. Ariel, can we hang out?
We love Ariel. We love Ariel.
We love Ariel. Yeah, it's really interesting. I know. I went to my 15-year college reunion a couple of years ago, believe it or not. And yeah, just some of the conversations of like retelling the stories. Some of them are nostalgic. I'm not going to lie. Not every memory I've ever had about drinking is awful, but it's just, it wasn't sustainable and it's very past tense for me. So when I'm trying to have like a current dialogue, like there's not a lot of vomiting, puking, drinking
Right.
stories.
I love when, like on Thanksgiving, people were talking about like war stories, drinking stories. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was doing blah, blah, blah. Like, and I just totally said, like, I could just trump everybody's story. And it's fun because it's not like you're sitting in it. You know what I mean? It's like when you do a fart and someone's like, who farted? You're like, I have no idea. Cause they could smell it right then. But then later you're like, that was me. Like, you can't smell it anymore. Like you're proud and you own it. Like, that's how I feel about my drinking stories. It's like, but like when I was still drinking, I'm like, oh my God, if anybody knew what I did in Toronto.
God, that is the most hilarious analogy.
Right. If anybody knew what I did in Toronto, like that wouldn't be good. But now, because like that could never happen again, I'm like, in Toronto, I went to a sex club and and I was like screaming at it, and I like it was the what is it called when the little people talk and it's whatever. But I was like doing all, what is it? What is it when they have a movie and the two little people talk over here? Anyway,
like Conscience, like good.
No, it used to be a TV show, but it was kind of a little bit before my time, so it's definitely before your time. But anyway, my boyfriend has always been sober, and it makes me happy to not feel the need to drink. When we go out, we look for activities, not just drinking scenes. But oh boy, do I have some stories.
Ariel, that's really great. You've been dating. So it's interesting because to get this perspective from the person who is the non-sober person dating a sober person, that works for you guys. And although, is it weird with coronavirus, since you're like, we look for activities, not just drinking scene? Like, what is that like now? Because there are no activities. Activities aren't a thing because society is still closed. I don't know.
But that's the thing. You can make up activities now. That's
Mhm.
what's fun. Like board games. Like I'm learning how to play chess. Mystery
Oh,
Science Theater. That's exactly it. Thank you, Ariel. I was doing Mystery Science Theater to this big porn thing. And just like saying, and I was making everybody laugh, but people were trying to like jerk off and stuff and do all the stuff. And I was just like, and I was with two people, two comedians. I was with Jessica Kirsten and Ian Harvey. And
I
they
love
were
Ian
stone cold
Harvey.
sober, and I was wasted. And Leah Delaria was the one that got me wasted. She was trying to have sex with me, and
Oh, Leah
and
Delaria, that's
yeah.
controversial.
And Ian and Jessica were like, no, we're saving you. Come with us. And then we went to the sex club. Should I be telling the story? I can. We're all
I don't
sober.
know, but I love that they tried to save you by taking you to a sex club.
They did save me. And then I was, yeah, I was doing Mystery Science Theater. It was really funny, I
That's
think.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like that story is kind of embarrassing when I was still drinking. I was just like, I'm never telling that story again.
but
But now,
now that it's like a delayed fart, it's worth telling. Why
yeah,
does my
now,
face look oh so super white? I think it's you know why? I'm in the studio and behind me those doors, like the sun's actually starting to go down, so it's like changing the lighting in this room, and all of a sudden I look like super white and overexposed. Dun dun dun.
I'll show you overexposed.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jackie and
we
I
did.
did a game show, Pandemic Password, the other day, and we were overexposing ourselves. It was very fun. On Jenny McNulty's Facebook page. You guys should check it out every Monday at 4 o'clock. That's a little plug for our bestie, Jenny McNulty.
Yeah, we had fun. We didn't do well though. Oh no, we came up same both times we've done game shows. We come up good at the end when
Yeah,
we almost win.
we almost win. Yes,
I
there's
think
that.
we were the most entertaining.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Sorry, I'm fixing my
Yeah,
lighting again.
both times.
Is that better, or is that now that's all romantic? Weird.
I like it. Both ways is fine. Is mine crazy and you're trying to match my craziness?
No, because you look so like crisp, and I can see the definition of your nose and your mouth, and I feel like I look like one of those photoshopped photos where you can't actually see their nose or their mouth because it's way
No, I think
overexposed.
you're being crazy. I have oil on my face. My face is oily and I don't have foundation.
I
But
broke
whatever.
my foundation today. I dropped it on the floor and it annoyed me. You know, when the whole thing shatters and every time I do
You,
it.
oh God, you wear the best foundation because I never know you have it on.
Wow, that's really amazing to say. I appreciate that because I'm so self-conscious about my skin. So
What do you use?
I use Laura Mercier because I it's sort of an expensive product, but I'm allergic to bees, so I can't have any bee pollen is in a lot of makeup, and so like my face will blow up like a balloon if I so Laura Mercier, like Beauty Counter, I think there's a couple of others that don't use any or any vegan product because any vegan makeup won't be using any animal products, so that's pretty safe. Even though I don't necessarily need to wear vegan makeup, I often buy it just because I know for sure there won't be bees pollen in it.
Wow.
Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy
that's
that
an
that's
easy
like
way
a
to do it.
standard
So I'm
thing?
having to look at the little ingredients.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
happened to me once. Like I don't remember what product I was using, but like my face swelled up like a balloon years ago. And I got stung by a bee like many, many years ago, but I just never thought being allergic to bees and makeup would correlate, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
didn't it wasn't
Yeah.
until
You
I
really
used bee
roll with the
makeup.
punches, Renee. Like I have friends that like harp on every little thing that happened to them. Like I would know that they couldn't have that they needed vegan. Like I love how often we've hung out and I had no idea. Like you're so good. Renee, you're a good person. I like it. And
Thank
funny,
you. You're a
beautiful,
good person and you're funny and you're beautiful.
topping from the bottom.
Topping from the bottom. Oh, look at we're wrapping up. See, this is what I love about hanging out with you. I didn't even realize we've been talking for 35 minutes.
I know. We do a good job.
We do. And for those of you that are watching our rant, we are going to come up with such a succinct, never normal highlights episode. And it's just going to be the whole thing's going to be magic. Ariel, I
It
hope
really
you are
is.
back. We may cut and paste some of your comments because
Yes. Thank you, Ariel.
Yay, Ariel and Eric. Let's oil pull together and hang out and make videos. I've got
Wait,
ideas,
do you,
man.
do you really oil pull for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I used to do 20 minutes. Now I do like 5.
But I don't do a full tablespoon. It's too much in my mouth. So I do a teaspoon for 20 minutes.
Okay.
I just, if not, I'm like,
Do you do it every day?
No, every other, usually.
It doesn't feel so good. It hydrates.
It does. Like when I actually spit it out after, it like really feels like it cleans me out.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know anybody else that did it.
Maybe part of it's psychosomatic, but I'm still also into that. Like to me, just like there are lots of activities we do to pull us out of our thinking. So like that's kind of how I feel about like crystals too. I don't know necessarily that like each stone I'm meditating with like has all of these elements that are like lifting some part of my spirit, but because I'm laser focusing on what the crystal, what the quality is, that's, like if I'm having anxiety and I'm holding an amethyst and I'm focusing on releasing my anxiety, that's almost the purpose. It doesn't matter whether or not the actual amethyst itself can remove anxiety.
Right.
It's the concentration on what it represents that removes the anxiety.
That's a great way to look at it. It's like a permission slip.
Yeah.
Like a placebo permission slip type thing.
Totally. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But like when people are like, you need this stone, I'm like, I need a higher power. That's all I need.
Yeah, exactly. It's
But
more
like-
like a channel.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it focuses you on certain things. And I love the aesthetics of crystals too. I mean, I
Yeah,
collect a lot.
I know.
of
I
them.
have
They're
them. I
beautiful.
definitely have them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like I just don't like people saying you have to do this, you have to do that. Like I don't have to do anything but be my most aligned self. Yeah.
Agreed. Totally.
Yeah. Like in one religion, they were like, you need to get something in your doorway. There's demons in your doorway. I'm like, come on. There's enough going on in the world. I don't need to worry about demons in my doorway. Like you get out of here.
Agreed. You love crystals, Shayla. I do love crystals, and I agree that they have energy in them. Like there's this obsidian rock in Maui that I went to where you literally like go into the lava rock and you can take a chisel and just take obsidian. And
Wow.
it's like they want you to, like it's not frowned upon. It's almost like nature's giving to you. Like there's so much, it produces so much obsidian and you can feel the energy in the rock. Like
Wow.
I believe
Do you
it.
have it?
Yeah, I have a huge chunk of obsidian in my
Will you show it next time?
yeah, for sure.
I do feel in crystals, like I went to a shop and I put my hands over it and I could feel like certain ones like drawing me to it. I definitely do feel it, but ultimately I like whatever we have owns us, right? Like we don't own things, they own us, whatever we keep. So I like to be as minimalist as possible.
I agree with that. Yeah, crystals are awesome. And my friend Chrissy, just a little shout out to one of my best friends, Christina Steele, owns a business called Goddess 3, and they sell crystals, and she like blesses them, and like she makes bracelets where she like finds whatever. If you're having anxiety but indigestion, she'll like give you stones and put it on a bracelet that relieves both of those
I
qualities.
love that.
She's sort of amazing. So if you're into crystals, those who are viewing, go to goddess3.com and buy.
I have a friend that has a shop too, and she puts all the crystals and it has them for one day. She keeps them in her vagina. And then
I don't know if Christina keeps her crystals.
I made it up.
I can't. I don't know if I could speak on that, but
Wasn't that good? Wasn't that good?
Yeah, that was really was
she keeps
good. I
them
don't
in
know
her
if Christina
vagina.
could live up to the crystals in her vagina, but I'll mention it to her. Be like, no, you really need to step up to really make a dent in your market. You should start putting all your crystals in your vagina.
Where is her crystal shop?
If she's on Instagram right now, it's virtual. She launched her business at the beginning of this year with all this crazy coronavirus. So there's no brick and mortar location. But I don't want to misinform you before I'm trying to get her Goddess 3. Yes, goddess3.com is her website, but she also is on Instagram too, and she lists all of her products there if you guys want visuals of her crystals. But yeah,
And they're not in her vagina. I think
and
that's
she doesn't put them in her vagina, but she does ship them anywhere in the country. So if you
And
love
she'll
crystals,
ship them into your vagina.
and she will ship them directly into your vagina.
Yeah.
And if you're nice, she'll put them in your vagina for you for an extra
Nice. See, this is a
No.
crystal shop. This is what I love.
Oh, I'm gonna tell her to follow up and watch this. And
Yeah,
she's
she's got to. She can use it for her on her Instagram.
Totally.
When
A
we
little
speak the
plug
clap.
about putting her crystals in her vagina. By comedians Jackie Monahan and Renee Santos. If
I
you
like that
want
I
a good
went up.
crystal-
I'm like, well, I have a friend who puts them in her
Oh, it's good. It's really good. Can we superimpose that we have 5,000 views as opposed to 6?
I don't even
Instagram.
see it.
I wonder why. We're gonna have to figure this out because I see so much more, including all of the comments that come up on the screen too.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any of it.
I think you have to log in as
Oh,
me.
now I
Let's figure that
see
out
it.
next week.
Now I see it. I had it on private chat instead of comments.
Oh, okay, good.
All right,
So
cool. So we can both
well,
do it.
now we know.
Yeah.
Well, lovely
It's
lady,
fun.
I do have to get going, but hey,
I
thanks for
love
everybody that
you.
came to check us out. I adore you all for being here and supporting us, and join us next week on Never Normal. We'll be Tuesdays at 3:00 normally.
Yeah.
But because we're never normal, we like to change the time slot when life
We do
happens.
we do what we need when we need to do it, but we try to stay at 3:00.
Yes, we do. And we're going
We're
to end the
busy
show with
ladies.
Ariel's comment. This is for you, Christina Steele.
Oh my God.
Ariel, please come back next week. We may make
Yes.
you a co-host.
Come back. We love you. We love all of you.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Jackie,
Bye,
don't go anywhere
everybody.
yet. Bye, Facebook.